everybody. Welcome to the presentation about the testing on the IBM I. My name is Wim Jongman. Together with Kirk, I will be the host for tonight. And we have the absolute mastermind in testing on the IBM I, Pascal Polverini, with us. And we will be showing the testing in action. First of all, from a testing point of view. So what do we need to know? What do we need to do when we want to test on the IBM I? And then afterwards, how do we integrate it in the DevOps environment? And that is my role. So I'm going to show you how we integrate all that stuff inside DevOps tooling. And of course, we want to show that inside TDOMS. All right, so Pascal, before we start, I can see your slide. Can I ask you just to get things started a little bit? And we also invite everybody to ask your test specific questions in the chat, so we can answer all your questions. But Pascal, so let me start with this. So.
Yep.
I am doing a lot of DevOps implementations, and when I see a IBM I shop that are really doing tests, then I'm surprised, right? Wow, so you are also doing tests, that's great. But most of the people, they don't do it in any official way. Of course, people test, right? We put it in test and we put it in QA and we do our tests. But automated testing is not really very popular. So what do you think? Why is there such a great barrier when it comes to automated testing on the IBM I?
Well, this is a very interesting question, because it's true. In 2024, we would think everyone should test, because this is a kind of task that should be automated, and but many still doesn't do enough testing. And the main barrier is, just imagine when you test, you have to test programs, files, and a classic test is, I will test a call stack. Program A call B and B call C, and all of those programs will use some files. Then, if you want to test it properly, the first things you will have to do is, before calling this program, understand which file you are going to use, copy all of them, do your sequence, copy the result data elsewhere, and then you will be able to replay your test, and therefore you will have to reinitialize all of your data with all the files you save, redo again the sequence, and compare the data at the end. This is a lot. This is too much. This is discouraging, and this is why this is the main barrier to do testing. Up to few years, it was very hard to find the right tooling about it, and this is why we've got this meeting.
Yes, absolutely. So we are doing our tests at Remain Software, but we are let's say doing our unit tests.
Yeah.
So we have basically from the start of TDOMS, we have made everything in APIs, in command line APIs.
Yep.
So our business logic is quite easy to test with unit tests. But yeah, if we have any logic inside the screens or inside the web page, then it gets harder, right? We need something to replay that.
Yes.
And so we are using unit tests, and we also do peer review, which is a very effective way of testing as well. That just let somebody else take a look at your code.
Yes.
What do you think is the easiest way for people to get started with testing?
Well, what I've seen as well from my side with customer in different places, even big institution, they use Excel spreadsheet with instruction, and manually they do step by step their test. This is not an ideal way. Some other use run SQL script as a environment. You may do some initialization with your database or your a file you want to test. Then you can call a program still from run SQL script, and then run other SQL to validate what your program is supposed to do. And this is a starting point. Yes. Now, the good news is, with our tool, seeing that, and we know people do what they can for the testing, we've got, with our ReplicTest suite of modules and tools, we can reuse what everyone is already doing with run SQL script. You just have to save this sequence of instruction as a script within the AFS, and automatically it is already usable, replayable with our command.
Okay, so you say that if people have been doing tests, ad hoc tests, and maybe the important things, it is not lost.
Exactly. There is a path to reuse all of this within our framework. Yes.
Okay, so I will let you start, Pascal. Show us a little bit about how you approach the testing, what you have built, and after you're done, I will show the people how we have integrated it into our DevOps suite.
Excellent. Okay, then I will just start with a trivial question, just to set the importance of testing. Before a new release, I know all of us, all of you, we've got a nightmare, because we've got this question: do we test enough our application? And this is terrible. And we have to find a solution about that. This is why a few years ago we start to invest a lot on research and development to automate the testing. And what you will understand through this session, I hope, is that testing is a perfect candidate for automation. Of course, it is something you have to repeat and repeat different time. But also, what we will see is that we don't want testing to be a perception like, did you test enough? We have tested for a few days, few weeks, few months. Enough is a perception. We will see through this webinar that we will give number to your testing, not perception. And for some of you, maybe not everyone, but all of you that has their application exposed to a variable public, you will be interested about workload testing capabilities. What happens if I've got 1,000 people connected to my cloud application? What happens if I've got 1 billion users connected to my cloud application? You have to test if your infrastructure is configured properly with enough memory and these kind of things. And with our tool, we can also test that. Now, I just take back a slide from Tim Rowe about the ecosystem and the evolution of the multiple languages and technology around the IBM I. And we all know that nowadays we can do a lot around and from within the IBM I. We've got many things to deal with. But the question is, what about testing? We have to test different applications, not only legacy green screen application, but also web application, connection to other system, SQL connection, different interaction with all of our ecosystem. And what you will see today is some use of ReplicTest, which is a one-stop testing automation tool for functional testing, but also for workload testing. And I think the easiest is, we can also, I will just do a demo, start demo in few seconds. But what we found out around our tooling, the practice, are 3 laws for testing. And I like to use this number of 3, especially using back the Isaac Asimov 3 law for robotics. We've got 3 laws for testing, obviously, as well. The first one is a test to be definable as such must be autonomous. The second law is that a test must be reproducible or reproducible. And obviously the third one is that it has to be observable. If I cannot observe that a test is done, it is not a test. Then you will see that in any of things I will show you today, that this tree law will always be present. And this is valid for automated testing, of course, also for manual testing. But the point today is to automate all the testing, not only from reproducing them, but also to generate some script, which is the interesting point, because the number of test scenarios you would have in your shop is the fuel for the quality of your testing.
Okay, Pascal, can I ask you, what do you mean by autonomous?
Autonomous is that, imagine you are testing, you are using some file, and while you are running your test, someone else is updating some record within your file. This case will not be autonomous. In some situation, you have to isolate the object you are testing to be sure that they are not corrupted by external interaction.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah, okay. And if this is the case, you have to change the strategy of your testing and maybe create ad hoc record for the purpose of your testing. If you are sharing a database, we've got some customer with like many, like a case with more than 100 programmers. And every month, every 1.5 months, they refresh all the data from production to the test environment. And everyone is using the same database to do testing. They are sharing the data. But then this is also possible. But to make your test autonomous, you have to create new record for your test case or update record for your test case every time you replay your test to make them autonomous. You see? Because you have to start always with the same data to be able to do what we call a non-regression testing, to be sure that I've got the same at the beginning, I should have the same at the end, then I have to create an autonomous environment. All right? I think I will just go straight to some demo before going to this slide. And I will start with web application. Web applications are pretty complicated because we've got a web page, we've got RESTful API, we've got HTTP server, but we all know that behind the scene, you can end up within different jobs for your RESTful API request. Then it is pretty hard to encapsulate all the jobs that are interacting with your web application. And within our tool, we have implemented the capabilities to be multiple jobs, to follow multiple threads or multiple jobs for one test case. And we have created also a very simple interface to enable anyone to record a test scenario. And this is an example. This is the page you will use to record a web test scenario. And I will just give you a name to my test. I will call it ABC1234 just to make it unique. I will start a recording, and then the engine will prepare the environment for me. This is already done. And now I can go to my web application. I've got here a simple example. I will just change one record with some new value. I will update it. And you can see that it has been updated. And I can continue to update the record or to do some creation. But when I'm done, I come back to this page and just click the button which is now stop recording. And the engine is doing its job, and here we are. I already have a script that has been generated from what I've done through my navigation. And this script is already replayable, and this is what I will do immediately now. I will go here, and I've got, I think I already have the library online. Okay, that's cool. And we've got this command, exeweb SQL, which is part of our product. And here the script name, I will run this. And here we are. I've done different things. I have recorded automatically a navigation of my web application. This has generated a script, and I have replayed this script. Now I can go to a dashboard here, and if I do a refresh, you see that I've got now the test 26, which is ABC 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Then you've seen here how easy it is with this tool to generate automatically a script that records your navigation, and this script is already available to be replayed. Then here we have pushed a lot the simplicity of the interface for the tool. Why? Because, and I will come back to my PowerPoint, because the fuel of the quality of the test is the number of tests you have recorded. And we have worked a lot to enable anyone to record a test scenario, not only programmers, not only QA people, but end user. They know very well your application, and we want them to record many test scenarios that could be reused by everyone immediately. Because then a test is a test. I know we've got a unit test, integration testing, end-to-end testing. We've got many flavors for the test. But at the end, a test is a test. And the more tests I have, the better the quality will be in terms of non-regression testing. When your shop will do a new release, you will want, first of all, to ensure that nothing is broken after you've changed something, after you have added a function. Then, if you've got 10 scenarios recorded available for you to do a non-regression testing, that's good. If you've got 100 of them, it is even better. Then we push a lot the simplicity of the interface to enable anyone to record test scenario. Then after, therefore, you are productive day one with this tool, because as soon as you've got what I've done just now, you've done these kind of things, you've got already some scenario available to be replayed by anyone from within your organization. And about new functionality or update, we've got also a set of unit tests, like a command that reproduces the call procedure, the call SQL procedure, the call SQL function. And what we have added with this kind of command is the capability to memorize input-output parameters value. Like, it would be good to, when I call a program with 5 parameters, to ensure that every time I call this program with these 3 values for the 3 input parameters, to have always the same value back, of course. And this is what I have integrated with what we call this unit test. We've called that the UB unit test set of commands. And you can also use that. As soon as you are using this kind of command within ReplicTest's, this creates scenario available for everyone else within your organization. And this could work as well when you do a transformation project. For instance, imagine you have to do a change of your database, maybe a resize, a file that is too small, you have to make it bigger. We all know that this is a big deal sometime. And by the way, we also have some tooling about that. But when you do that, you change the structure of an object. Imagine you already have 100 test scenarios available using this file. Within our tool, we do all the plumbing automatically to make available those scenarios even after you change the structure of the file. Same is valid when you change the security. You want to change the security level of your whole system. You want to ensure that nothing is broken, that the right people still have the right access to all of your objects. And when you've got this kind of structure change, all scenarios that you have recorded before are still available after. And we've got that available for functional testing, then unit test, integration, end-to-end testing, also workload testing. Workload testing is, we will see that later in the demo, is you've seen that we've got the capability, of course, to record a scenario. A scenario is a transaction. I can have a web application, a green screen application, and I can have many screens. This is a transaction at the end of the day. to do our workload testing is not as simple as repeating in parallel the same scenario 1,000 times, because if within my scenario I'm doing an update of a record, the first instance of my test will lock the record. Then if I repeat it in parallel the second time, the third time, the instance will not work because the record is locked. Then what I will need is the capability to replay the same scenario, but changing the record value, like not the customer number 1, but customer number 2. Then to change on the fly the variable which would be the record in which the update will occur. And with our tool, we can do that easily. But I will show that in a few minutes. Then security testing, shrink data, and code coverage. The best is just to show it to you. Okay. Then let's remove from here and going back here. And here I will call the simple, I will start with a simple example. The main engine we've got is the command run test, which could also be called with start run test and end run test. The difference is run test will wrap the menu, the function, the command I want to test. The start and end run test will enable me to do several calls or enable me to do a test over multiple jobs or web application. Then let's prompt this command. I will call a simple demo, work movie. I will give some explanation, and here an example. I've got a simple file here with a subfile, and I can update, create, delete record. I will do it here, and I will just update this record with this value, and you can see that it has been updated. Okay. Now I will exit. And this is a test number 27. Okay. And I will just prompt it, and the engine understood that this is a recording. Why? Because it's the first time I call this program. Now we'll just do F9 and call the same again. But see, the engine automatically reinitialize the data for me, which is what I'm looking for, right? Then if I'm doing now the same, firm, exit, it will tell me that the test is successfully accomplished. But here he understood this is not anymore a recording, but a replay. This is the first things we have done a few years ago for this tool, which is I don't want to find manually what are the file I'm using. The tool should do it. This tool on the fly understand when you are using a file, understand when this is the first time or not, then reinitialize the file and compare it automatically when it should do it, when it has to do it. And the way we do it is we use the call of your function plus this prefix as a key. With this, we can automate all the process between the recording and the replay. Now, I will call the same program again. I just do an F4 here. And see, then initialize the data, but now I will put a different value to create a failure. Okay, then I put a BBB instead of A, exit, and obviously the answer will be that there is a failure because there is a mismatch in the database, which is what I'm looking for. Then this is the foundation of the tool. Now, I will show you the code coverage. The code coverage, and we know there is an API from IBM that enables to do the code coverage that could be seen only with RDI. We have rewritten the whole interpretation of the code coverage to write information into a comprehensive database and show the source result code of the code coverage in a document within the IFS. then it is public, available, and transparent. And some of our customers use that with VS Code that we use as well to call several times the same program with different inputs and highlight the differences between the code coverage between one case to the other. And with VS Code, it is visually very meaningful. Then I will do it here. I will call the same example, but with the code coverage. Okay. Code coverage. I've got here different parameters. This command is very powerful. You will see that there are many options. Here's the one with code coverage. Okay. Oh, yes. Of course, I have to say which module I want to cover, which is here. Okay.
Movie C?
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. I put movie C. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, it still took it. CL or RPG. This is a code coverage in action. Obviously, in batch, this won't appear, but okay.
So then for people that have hear it for the first time, code coverage basically will tell you what lines in the programs have been touched by your test.
Exactly. Yes. And you're right, Wim. I specified the CL program and not the RPG program, but that works for both. And I will show you here with the help. This is a message after the code coverage, and we've got the code coverage generated on the AFS, which is, here I've got an example, which is, okay, this one. This would have been the RPG program with the code coverage, and here the RPG source code is reproduced within this document with some command at the top to say, this is a test number, whatever, with the percentage of code coverage. And this is example for the RPG program. And you've got a cross against each line that has been executed, and no cross when the line is not executed, like this one. Yeah? And with VS Code, it is visually user-friendly, right? And this is an example for the test coverage. Now, I will do it again, this time with the right program name. Yep, that's the one. Oh yeah, no, this was already the RPG program. Okay, but I will call the same, but navigate with different inputs within my program. Just to do something else, I will now go here and put that back. I will update this and go to the spool file just to navigate elsewhere on my program.
So you see more lines of code touched.
Yes, exactly, yes. Because what I want to do after that is a merge of the code coverage. Because when you test, and this is why with this tool, you will be able to go from perception to numbers. And we all believe that computing is a science then based on number, not perception. Because when you will test, one thing is to say I have tested program A, B, C. Another thing is to be able to say yes, but I have tested 80% of the program A, 83% of the program B, and 74% of program C. Because maybe what you will want to reach is an average of 75, 80% of all of your line of code from all of your program before a new release. And we understand within your program, you will have what we call dead code, like a routine that is never called. We can also integrate this kind of information within our structure to be able to tell you at the end, merging all the code coverage from all of your tests, that, okay, you have covered 76% of all of your program within this suite of tests. And this is a number. And only with this kind of number, you will be able to sleep better before a new release. Okay. Then I've got another code coverage test on my application, and here I will show you. Here we've got several files from the tool, but one that will interest you is a user-defined function to do the merge of the code coverage. And because this is a UDF in SQL, you will be able to call it from everywhere, but also from a DevOps pipeline like the DOMS. And I will just run it. Okay, and then the merge of the different tests I've done for this application is a 58%.82. Okay, and which is not the total of 29 I have plus whatever, is the merge of both information, which is what I'm looking for.
Okay,
and
so let me ask this to you, Pascal. You say you have 4 tests of the same program,
yep.
and this accumulates the total percentage of the lines covered. That's what the merge does.
Yes. But the merge is not like one plus the other plus the other.
No,
It's the merge.
Yeah. So the lines that have been tested in both programs will not count for 2.
Exactly. Yes. And here, this is the merge that I just ran. This is all the tests that were using this module. And here we've got, the time is 4 just now. And here you've got the total result, right? And this is what you will see with a cross against each interesting line. Yeah. Okay, then this is what drastically will give number to your test. And we all...
Yeah, so let me ask you another question, and it also hooks into one of the questions we have in the chat, or one of the remarks.
Okay.
It is about, so you showed, okay, I'm going to record a screen or a web session, and then I am going to play it. But in the green screen, you did it manually again. How can I automatically do it to avoid regression in my program? Yeah.
I will show it to you in 6 seconds, because before I want to show you just another command, but after I will.
It's fine.
I will do what you are asking for. Yes, because the other thing I wanted to show you about features is what we call the shrink data. The shrink data is very handy to test what you need to test. You will use file. Surely you will copy file from production, and in many cases you may have a big file with thousands, billions of records, because this is your real life application. And anytime you will want to replay a test, you will have to restore the data one way or another. And if the file is big, this will take time. Okay, then what we have done here is an option where the test engine will recognize what are the effective record used within a file, and from that only use this as a subset to replay your test. And I've got here, I will show it to you here. I've got another version of my program that is only using 4 or 5 records from all the file, and I will shrink it. Then I will call the command run test again. This is another version. Shrink. And I will set the option which is here. All right. Okay, then my files got 30, 32 records. This example only use 4 of them. Exit. Test 13, and I will just recall it. The very first time we take what we have, but the second time with the string option, see what happened? It's doing some job. It's doing some analysis of the file used within the test case, and then is running the test. And when I'm done, I exit. I've got this message where I've got the string. Here I shrink the file by 87.50%. And this is very handy because this will enable you to do tests every day, not every 3 months because your files are too big. And this will increase the quality of your test. Okay, and now Wim, I will answer your question about, of course, encapsulating as well.
Yes, but before you do, I have one question about the shrinking.
Yes.
So suppose you have a full integration from entering a customer to adding orders, to printing the orders, to picking the orders, the whole thing you want to integrate in test.
Yes. Yeah.
Now you say that when you do that workflow and you want to replay it, it will only take those records from all my files, all my order files, my stock files, and only shrink it to that amount that was actually being used in that specific test?
Yes, exactly. Yes. And we even have a customer that his issue is he has to pay 5% more for the hardware because they've got too many files, too many records, and he knows that many are not used anymore, but he doesn't know which one. And we are using the shrink features to understand what he can move back to a backup file and to clean his database.
Okay, so that is an additional feature.
Exactly. Yeah.
A found feature. Yeah, very nice.
Exactly. This feature could be used for additional purpose of only testing, is to understand which record I'm really using in all of my application, and you can run it, and even after 1 full year, you will be able to really understand what are the obsolete records that you could remove if you want. But using it for the test, make your test lighter, then you can test your many test scenario every day if you want, because volume and speed is not an issue anymore. Right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I will show you the command to encapsulate, of course, your screen. Because so far you've seen something about the web where we encapsulate everything, the input, output, the body parameters, the request. The database is also initialized. Actually, I will show you the Postman later on. But about screen, we've got a command called record 5250. Very meaningful, right? And then I just use this, press enter, and now I can navigate as I'm doing every day. Okay.
Just a couple more minutes, Pascal. We'll have to hand it over to Wim.
Yes. Okay. Let me run that.
We might also mention they can always reach out. They could always reach out and get a full demo with your organization if they need to.
Of course, yeah. Then I just, I'm just navigating through my application. When I'm done, I exit. And then see here, this is also creating a script that I will save here. All right. And here I've got the other command called execute 5250. Here the script name. And I will just run it this way. And here is like running it in batch. But I will prompt it one more time after that. But here there are two things. One, again, I have recorded automatically what you have done through your green screen. This encapsulated your screen sequence, the I/O parameters, but also the database as before. But I can run it in batch. And when you want to integrate your testing, but you have to automate them. This is done. But if you want to integrate all of this nicely into a DevOps pipeline, you want to batch also your interactive process.
Absolutely.
This is what we've done. Okay. And now we'll just prompt it again here. If I select this parameter, or no, we've got here the script, but we can play it step by step. Okay. And here we've got page by page, line by line. If you want to debug it or not, it is very, very powerful. But what I've shown you just before is like the straight way to, the simplest way to run it is in batch, as I'm just showing you before.
Right. So this is every keystroke that you make, every test that you do. And then I can imagine if you have a big test that you can update the script and don't have to re-record it from scratch.
Of course, yes. And the idea is, here we've got all the automatism also, you know, when you've got, here we are comparing all the I/O, the input-output information on the screen, also on the database. When you've got a date, a timestamp, of course, when you will replay it, it will change. We've got macro to ignore all of the timestamp, obviously. We've got also macro functions to encrypt password. Here, for instance, you don't want your password to be, the login to be clean. By default, we encrypt it, but you can also decrypt it. It is like a real language. And the same for, you know, the web application. I will show you here the script for a web application and then pass it to you, Wim. Where are we here? No, I wanted to.
Everybody, I could just answer the question in the chat. If they have a web application they're having to maintain and test, could you put the word test in the chat, please? Can we get some response for some folks? Go to the chat, put test if you're testing a web application with your IBM I.
Actually, I will show you something to show you more about the mechanism. I'm sure majority of you know Postman, right? Here we'll create another test with Postman. This is similar to this page, okay? But behind the scene, I'm showing you what is happening here. I create a new test. I give just a scenario name. And when this is done, I've got the answer back in JSON, which is what we see just here. Okay, then we are happy. And I'm doing here an example where I've got a list of customer. I will show the full list. And here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 customer. Then I want the details of customer number 2. This is a get with the key number 2. Okay, and I've got this. Now I want to create a new customer. And I've got here the body, which is here, and I will use a post. And the answer is yes. Now I've got customer number 6, which is a new one. Now we want to update the customer number 2, and I've got here the body, and I will just update the name, okay? And here we are, we've got it. Now I will just do a final get to have what I've got at the end. And I've got then 1, 2, and here the customer number 2 is updated. And I've got 6 customer. And now I'm done with my test scenario. Then it was 9. I put the same test scenario and just use the end run test. And the end run test, we just finish it. But here, see, ReplicTest for test 31 has been successfully generated. Now, if I'm coming to a test 31 here, I will show it to you. Here I will do an update, because this is already generated within the IFS. And I've got here test 31, which is already available, okay? And this is a script. Now, this script could be already used Actually, I will just run it here. This is a comment. 2 more minutes, Wim, and we'll give you back the floor because I want just to show this.
Yes. Totally. This is very nice. Must be shown.
Yeah. Okay. Then I'm just calling this test. I'm just done now.
Yeah. So this. So you have recorded your test somewhere in a web browser or on Postman or wherever. It creates a script in the IFS in that file, and you can just run it from everywhere.
Exactly.
And it does exactly the same thing.
Yes, but not only. The thing I wanted to show you is, in what I've done, I have used post, get, put, and I have updated customer number 2. But let's say that this is then test 31, that I want this customer number 2, I want to do some workload. Then the customer should should be number 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 10,000, okay? I have to make it a variable. The way we do it is, this is a script. The get, okay, let me find it back. I want to find the put.
Control F.
Oh yeah, this one, yep. Okay, then here, I just say, yep, this number 2, I want it to be a variable. Then I just put the ampersand and cust NBR. I call it cust. Yes. Thank you, Wim. Cust number. All right. Then I'm just saying, yep, I want this to be a variable now. And this is a very easy way to do it. And I'm going back to the command line, and we've got another command which is more powerful. I call the same script, do F4.
It's for adults only, yeah?
Sorry?
It's for adults only.
Yeah, yes, exactly. And here I've got cost NBR. I can say, yep, no, this is not number 2, but number 3. And I can call it on the fly. Now with this capability, okay, and this has been run, and if I'm coming to where I am, the refresh, we will see that, okay, and this has been called twice, the test 31, because I recall it again with a different customer. Now, with this capability, you understand that I can do workload or even create several tests with a template with variable. And this is crucial in an automated framework, because here, I'm using a command which could be a call from any command line, from any CL, or from any DevOps environment. And for DevOps, we have created what we call a set of commands to do a suite of tests. You've got a create suite, add test within the suite, and then a run suite. And all of those commands are interfaced with TDOMS framework. And I think that if you want, Wim, I can show maybe those commands on the green screen.
Let me take it from here, because we have only 10 minutes left, and we also want to do questions. And I'm sure you can talk for another hour, Pascal.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, but
okay, so
I will give you.
Yeah.
And I just want to jump in really quick. If you could, I want to ask a question, everybody, just to get some audience interaction. Who sees the value of test automation for IBM I applications? I'm going to put this in the comments chat. If you see value in it, a significant value, put an X. If you're not sure, put a no. If you need more information to decide, put a question mark. So there you go. If you guys could all answer that with an X, O, or question mark, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, so now we have this. Let me just put my camera on so you can see me. Okay, so now we have done this, right? And I was already working, so we were together already early with Pascal. And of course, all my questions about the testing were in regards of the DevOps pipeline, right? So yeah, okay, Pascal, very nice. You created nice tests, but what if I want to test them? How do I know what I need to test? And then Pascal and his team created basically a stack trace of every test, right? So in every test, he now records, I call this program, which calls that program, which uses that file, which calls that program and this trigger, etc., etc. So the complete stack is available inside the ReplicTest as well. And that is something that we can use with TDOMS. So let me just give you a quick peek there. Share my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes, you too.
Yes, I can see
Me
it.
too? Okay, real. Okay, so what we see is that, so we have, I'm now showing Octo, right? So this is the latest UI of TDOMS. This will be available inside VS Code, but also inside the web. And we, of course, the running of the tests will be done by the DevOps pipeline. So that is something that needs to be set up for the place where you want to run it. But let's just quickly create a task in the example application, testing time. And if I open my testing time task, which is 604, you will see that there is a couple of attributes of this task, right? So what objects are connected, what comments do I have, is it linked to what Jira, etc. But there's also a tests node. So we see that ReplicTest has been installed. This will automatically pop up the tests. And at this point, there are no tests because, yeah, there is nothing is yet connected to my task. But if I then start to attach something, so I made a customer API, I already positioned it over here. Let me just create a branch here. And then take this program and check it out, right? So I'm going to my components view. I found my customer change API, and I want to check it out to my dev environment. Okay, so it is actually running. Oops, wrong one. I don't want to do this. Cancel, refresh. So testing time is now in dev. You can see there is one OMQ change CU. So what we can do at the moment is say, okay, what in my task, in my fix, what tests are there available for that specific program? Let me see if I can pop it up. So yeah, that goes into the ReplicTest and say, okay, you have for this specific program, you have this test, customer API test, and add it. And then from this point, we can run it manually, or we can, of course, when we do a promotion, have the option to automatically execute this test when we promote to the next environment. Okay, so this is how we want to take a look at the integration, and of course, this will be we will add some more stuff to it to show the test and to edit the script and all that. Nice stuff will also be available in the interface with TDOMS and ReplicTest. It's going to be a really beautiful integrated testing DevOps solution. Okay, so this is for me what I wanted to show you and how we look at the integration. So we have 5 minutes left. So maybe it's now time for some Q&A. Jerry, I already saw that you have.
Okay, you got it. Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead, Kirk, if you want to. Take
Yeah,
that.
we've seen some raise hand.
Yes.
Yeah, can you unmute yourself? I think I enabled his microphone. Kiera?
Yeah.
Can you unmute yourself, please?
Jerry, you
Ask
can
your question.
unmute.
No, it was a mistake. Sorry.
Okay.
But
Okay,
I'm
so we
happy
have
to say hello.
Jasper's.
Okay, Hugo, go ahead. You can unmute and ask your question.
I think 15 or 20 years ago, we tried our first thing to automate testing on IBM I. I have 2 questions. One, can I get the recording of this to share with our testing team?
Of course.
And second,
Yes, we'll be providing that afterwards.
Great. I thought so, but thank you. And second, who do I reach out to if I want anything established to go further? Wim.
Yes.
I'll try and find you, Wim.
Okay.
I know how to find you.
Okay, that's good.
Thanks again.
Yes.
And I would just want to conclude that I think this could help us a lot. I've just been facing a minor change in a pretty complex monolithic application that went to the 6th or 7th iteration of debugging. And I'm pretty fed up with that. So
Yes.
I need to talk with my management if they are agreed on proceeding with this. And I want my test team to be adjusted. And if that's all positive, then I will reach out to you, Wim.
Excellent.
I'm impressed. Thank you very much.
Okay, that's good to hear. Thank you so much, Hugo. Okay, any other questions? All right, so I have another question for you, Pascal. Okay, suppose we say let's go. Let's do this. What is the time since after installing the software? What's the time between installing the software and my first actual test that I can replay and use in a production environment? Is it like a year? Is it a month?
No, the time is pretty quick. You've seen the simplicity to record the test.
Yes.
It is about less than a week.
Okay, and that is with installation, training?
Yep. Yes, training is, you can do many things. In half a day, you are already productive. But
Okay.
if you want to do, it depends the complexity of what you are looking for, the complexity of your environment, but it will start with half a day. It can go up to 3 days according to the level of complexity. And you will start to be productive after a few days, within a week. But for more complex stuff, deployment, integration with DevOps, it could take more than a week, obviously, but that's fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's see if we have more questions. Yes. Okay, so yeah, that is it.
Or maybe there is maybe
If
just
you guys
one
enjoyed
thing.
this webinar, our next webinar link is in the chat, so you guys can check that out, please.
Okay, just one last thing about how quick this could be productive. What you are already using, if you are using, for instance, a run SQL script to, do some testing on the fly, all of those kind of scripts could be saved on the AFS. And at that point, they are already available to be replayed through our command. Then you can leverage what you've done through this kind of framework as well.
Right. All right. Okay, so it's time. Pascal, thank you enormously for this great demo. It's always a pleasure to listen to your mesmerizing accent and look at the wonderful software that you have created. So thank you everybody for joining, and reach out to us, and otherwise we will reach out to you. Okay, have a great rest of the day and the rest of the week. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.